guys, welcome back to some more reviews, and of course today reviewing The Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, which I'll get to in a second. First of all, I apologize for not doing any videos for the past few days. Yes, I know I missed Valentine's Day. I was going to review My Bloody Valentine, as well as the remake, and I was very busy for the past few days, so I really wasn't able to do any reviews. But I might have to review those films next Valentine's Day. But I figured I'd continue Nightmare on Elm Street franchise with Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. Now this is my favorite film in the franchise for many reasons. The movie is, of course, a little weird theme with the disc, and also the poster is that Freddy Krueger is wearing a trench coat. Not really sure why. He doesn't wear the coat once in the movie. So I was wondering, I was like, what the freak? Why do they put that on the freaking disc guard? Not really a problem, just more of a nitpick. But it's just a little weird thing I noticed about the poster as well as the disc art. But Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors is my favorite in the franchise. Like I said, just for a lot of reasons. Get a 6.6 on IMDb, which is actually very low. I figured this would have gotten at least a 7.0 or a 6.9, something like that. 7.0, heck, maybe even a 7.1. I thought that's how good this sequel was. It was worthy enough to have a 7.0 rating. Which, you know, I could still say at least it didn't get like a 4.0 or a 3.0, because if it would have gotten that rating, I would have been like, this is bullcrap. Which I know people are entitled to their opinions, but I think most people will say this is a great sequel. And it's directed by Chuck Russell, who has done The Mask, The Scorpion King, Eraser, The Blob from 1988, which I heard a lot of good things about, Bless the Child, which I thought was pretty good, and he's working on a lot of new stuff like Witchboard, Hell Page, The Hunchback, and I Am Wrath. But he did a good job directing the movie. The movie has a lot of good things about it. Is there any problems? Honestly, I really can't think of any problems. Besides maybe, well, I'm not even that, man. Even the CGI in the movie is pretty good. And you know, there's just not a lot of problems with it. I can't even think of one problem, honestly. Good thing about the movie is that, you know, it has an atmosphere to it. Just the way that it's shot and the way that it looks like a, you know, an actual dream world. And I like the idea of having the Nancy's house from the original, but all abandoned. And you know, I like the idea. I love the idea of the Dream Warriors. You know, basically having this power in your dream, and you can fight Freddy with this power. And it's a really cool concept. And I like how in the Dream Master, they sort of made it to where one person can get all these other dream powers. I like that idea too in that movie. And also just the idea of, just like I said, these kids just fighting Freddy with their dream powers. It's an awesome idea. And I know that Wes Craven helped do the story, and then it says Bruce Wagner came in and did the story. And there's 5 more credits. There's Bruce Wagner, Frank Darabont, and then Chuck Russell. So you got screenplay by a bunch of people, including Wes Craven, which I do believe Wes Craven did have a huge part in the writing, which is probably why this movie has a good script to it. And you know, it has some great ideas to it. But yeah, I do believe Wes Craven was involved with the writing of the movie. So yeah, Wes Craven came back and did the story. That's cool. As well as other people, they came back and sort of did I guess they had to go in and edit some stuff in the script. But like I said, I believe Wes Craven, you know, did most of the story. So the movie has a great plot, great acting, likable characters, awesome 80s soundtrack. Not as, I mean, this movie's definitely got a lot of 80s to it. You got some great songs by Dawkins, like Into the Fire, Into the Fire, I'm falling. And you got You Need Love, So Now I'm Back. And then of course you got We're the Dream Warriors, not gonna take it no more. We're the Dream Warriors. And maybe tonight you'll be gone. course, you got that great song, and even the regular score, just a normal, score, um, which I can't find it on here. But whoever did the of Freddy's mom, you know, uh, when she pops without the movie, she talks to the doctor character, um, Dr. Gordon, which is funny because whenever I say that, I think of Dr. Gordon from Saul, but this is a different Dr. Gordon. This is Craig Wasson, and sort of she pops up here and there to tell him about what happened and tell him about how there was this girl, which I believe this is the first movie to introduce this idea, where there was a nun who got raped by like, what was it, 50 men or 1,000 men or something like that. I don't know. And basically, Freddy Krueger was born from that. And um, the idea is disturbing. It's definitely more of a darker idea, and it is a really crazy idea. But when she pops up, she says a few things, but I don't know. I mean, maybe this could be a problem, but not really. Maybe a small problem with the movie is that she sort of pops up, and granted, I know people are like, well, she has to tell Doctor about what happened to Freddy Krueger and how he was made, and she has to tell Doctor how to stop Freddy Krueger. Well, she kind of does, but I don't know. I mean, she just sort of popped up here and there. That talk to the doctor and tell him about how to kill Freddy Krueger and stuff like that. But besides that, really, she didn't do anything else. I mean, she really didn't serve a big part of the story. She just kept popping up here and there and saying stuff. Um, so that was probably a small problem, is that that character really didn't do anything really much besides maybe tell the doctor that how to kill Freddy Krueger, but not really much else. But so you got that character who really, the whole Amanda Krueger, really didn't, you know, her being in the movie was, it was kind of useful, but, just, it got to the point where she would just pop up and it was like, alright. But besides that, man, you've got some great acting, you've got some great characters, you've got Neil Gordon played by Craig Wasson, like I said, which did a good job. You got Nancy Thompson come back as, you got Helen Camp come back as Nancy Thompson, sorry. Did a great job as well. You got Patricia Arquette playing Kristen. Now she did a lot better than the girl in Part 4, which I think I can see in the back of it. I think she's the girl who did most of the music. Let's see if I can I don't know, I can't see it on here, but whoever, I believe she did the music for Part 4. Well, she did at least one song for Part 4, was the opening song. But I don't really, because I do know she did the opening song for Part 4, but as far as acting goes, I don't know, man. She was more of a weak Kristen. Like, she just, as far as acting goes, I mean, she was just delivering these lines that just felt like, it just felt stale, and I didn't really like that Kristen. I prefer this Kristen more, which I do know that Patricia Arquette didn't want to come back to do Kristen again. I don't believe she didn't want to. And they had that girl player, which I think Patricia Arquette did a better job as Kristen. And you got Robert Englund, of course, come back as Freddy Krueger, did a great job. You got Ken Sagos playing Kincaid, great character. Rodney Eastman playing Joey, cool, good character. Jennifer Rubin playing Taryn, sort of this punk rock chick. Well, her dream power is a punk rock chick, but she's cool. And you got Philip by Bradley Gregg, likable character. Ira Heiden playing Will, likable character. And of course, you got Lawrence Fishburne playing Max, which is a good character as well. And I mean, you've also got Jennifer played by Penelope Sudrow, and of course, you got John Saxon come back as Thompson. And so the cast is great. You have a lot of good cast members in there. Everybody did a good job in acting. And the idea or the plot is basically you've got Kristen. She has a dream at the beginning of the movie where she's inside of Freddy Krueger's house. She gets chased, and then when she thinks she wakes up, but she goes in the bathroom and she goes to turn on the water faucet, and these knives sort of come out of the faucet. Cool idea. And grabs her hand, like cuts her arm. But of course, when she snaps out of it, she looks like she's slitting her wrist. And pretty much her mom sends her to this mental facility. And there are these kids there, pretty much the last of the Elm Street children. And those kids are there, and they're having the same dreams and nightmares as her. And basically, Neil Gordon and Nancy Thompson have to work together to try and find these kids, find basically their dream powers. And they go inside of hypnosis, and Kincaid ends up finding he has super strength. Joey, which you don't find out till later, is his power is when he screams, it can break glass and stuff like that. And then Taryn's like a punk rock chick, really cool looking character. She's got knives and stuff. And Will can pretty much, because he's paralyzed, he can't stand up. Well, in his dreams, he can stand up, and he's the Wizard Master. Pretty cool ideas. And basically, Nancy Thompson and Neil Gordon are trying to do this whole. They bring up this drug, which I keep Hypnoseal, which I just remember that name. But they also bring it up in Freddy vs. Jason. But in here, trying to get Hypnoseal to the kids, trying to keep them from having bad dreams. Well, this doctor character named Dr. Elizabeth Sims, played Priscilla Pointer. Pretty much, she doesn't want them doing that, and I think she fires the Dr. Gordon character, and then Nancy's banned from going in the hospital. And pretty much, Kristen is getting ready to fall asleep, and Nancy ends up getting inside the hospital, while Neil's gonna go get holy water and a cross to put on the remains of Freddy Krueger. And pretty much, Nancy goes to the hospital. She, has the kids go into hypnosis one more time, and they pretty much go inside of Freddy Krueger's nightmare. And they meet up with Kristen. Of course, you got that scene where they're inside the padded room, and the freaking claws are going through the freaking padded walls and stuff like that. And they get all separated, and a few of them die. You got Taryn, which pretty much she goes to this back alley. And, there's like a homeless dude, and then there's like street signs, and then behind her it says Taryn plus Freddy and a big heart, and then she freaks out, and basically Freddy Krueger uses her fear against her. She fights back though, she stabs him with a knife, and they're fighting, but then he goes, "Let's get high," and pretty much his fingers turn like needles. And he pretty much takes them into her arms, and really creepy idea where the wounds from when she was putting needles in her arm before start to like freaking move, like as if they were thirsty or something like that. And it's like a both of her really creepy idea. And pretty much he sticks the needles inside of her arms, and she gets basically overdosed on drugs, and she dies. And then you got her named Joey. And really cool shot. I always thought this shot was really cool, where it's a hallway and there's a blue sort of lighting to it, and Freddy Krueger is just sort of like leaning against a wall, and he's like, "You look tired. Have a seat." And Joey's like, "No, I'm fine the way I am. For now, maybe. But when you wake up, it's back in the saddle again." And the freaking wheelchair with spikes and spikes and it's basically all spiked up. There's knives on it and stuff, and it pretty much goes flying towards him. He dodges it, but hurts his leg. You got that cool scene where he's like, "I am the Wizard Master. I am the Wizard Master," which I do get it. Some people say it's cheesy. I think it's a fun idea. The whole Wizard Master idea. It's a fun idea. So is the whole idea with Taryn being this punk rock chick, and it's just these ideas are pretty fun ideas. And he of course does a stupid thing, which I agree with most people. Like, why does he run towards Freddy Krueger? I get it, it's freaking stupid. Where he goes, Prince of Bells, blah blah blah, Prince of Bells, it will be gone. And then he runs towards Freddy Krueger, and Freddy Krueger of course grabs him and stabs him. So I'm like, so why exactly did he run towards Freddy Krueger? Because I was like, you could just stand way back here and still shocked him. Why'd you run towards him? Which is a problem I've heard before many reviews, which I do agree with. It is stupid. I don't get why he did that. It was stupid. But once again, little problem. Not really a big problem. It's a little nitpick. And then of course you got Kincaid, Kristen, and Nancy. They pretty much they're not separated anymore. They find each other again, and cool idea. There's this door, and there's no like entrance, like just a floating door. But when it opens, it leads to the boiler room. And then of course you got Joey, which cool scene, which I didn't mention before, where basically Joey is has his hots for this nurse, and pretty much she gets naked, and and then you find out that it's Freddy Krueger tricking the kid, and he has like tongues on his wrists tied to a bed, and then below him is like fire and stuff like that. But and then of course they rescue Joey, and they go in this cool room with mirrors everywhere, and then Freddy Krueger pops up in every single mirror. And then I believe he disappeared before that scene though to go fight to go fight Neil and Nancy's dad, Thompson. Pretty much this I can get. It's a cheesy effect. Honestly, today's technology, it looks cheesy, but still has a cool charm to it. Still, even though it does look totally fake, it still has a charm to it. Where Freddy Krueger's remains pretty much build a freaking skeleton with a knife or with a glove, and kills Thompson and knocks out Neil Gordon's character. But then he wakes up later on and puts the bones in the ground, and then puts like holy water on it and a cross on the forehead. But before that, though, basically the mirrors are grabbing each one of the characters, and Joey screams, and the mirrors break, and they all fall out. And then Nancy gets tricked by Freddy Krueger. She thinks it's his dad. She thinks it's her dad, and it's not. It's Freddy Krueger tricking her, and he stabs Nancy, and she pretty much dies. It really kind of like sucks because it was like Nancy never really fought Freddy in this movie that much. I mean, granted, I do believe she punched him and kicked him a few times. I also do think like she shoved like a pipe through his chest or something like that, and then like he pulls it out and licks the bottom of the pole, with his blood on it and stuff like that. It's a gross scene. She does do stuff, but she never really fights him that much. And for her to just get killed like that was sort of like, so she doesn't even die fighting Freddy Krueger. I'm surprised because Nightmare on Elm Street, man, she set up the entire room with traps. She punched Freddy, knocked him out, sledgehammer. There's a lot of times in Nightmare on Elm Street 1 where she fought Freddy. She freaking throws a freaking jar of alcohol and burns him alive. So she did a lot in the first movie, which I do get. They had to make this more about these other characters. But still, Nancy, didn't really do much. So it would have been cool if she would have fought Freddy Krueger and died. Which she does in a way, I don't want to say get the last laugh, but she does take like his glove and stab him. So, she does end up getting revenge. She stabbed Freddy Krueger's own glove. And Kristen, of course, before that was fighting him, and he overpowers her, and then that's when Nancy stabs him with his own glove. Apologize for that. But yeah, and then of course Neil Gordon puts the holy water on the remains and puts the cross on the skeleton's forehead, and Freddy Krueger ends up just these marks appear on him, and he spins around, and of course he disappears. And pretty much you have that shot at the end of the movie where Neil Gordon's sleeping, and he has that statue of the house that Nancy used to live in, and you see the lights turn on. And then, of course, that song by Dawkins. And then it's like the Dream Warriors. Of course, Dream Warriors kicks in at the end of the end credits. And of course, when the light turns on, like the miniature house, it's going to be a sequel. And pretty much that's the end of the movie. So yeah, I mean, there's a few problems with the movie. Like I said, like that character, the whole Amanda Krueger character didn't get used that much. And Nancy, she didn't really get to, fight a lot, which would have been cool if she did. Besides that, though, those are two small problems, honestly, though. Everything else is going for this movie. I mean, you got a great score, a Dokken, and also just a regular score. Um, and you've got great atmosphere. The way it's shot was done well. It has a good look to the movie, made it different. The ideas are fun. The idea alone of just Dream Warriors is amazing. Great acting, likable characters, great direction, and altogether a very well made sequel. So that's my review of Nightmare on Elm Street 2 Dream Warriors. Like I said, I'm sorry that I didn't get to review this movie a little bit sooner. But I was busy for a while, so I couldn't review this movie. But yeah, thanks for watching my review of Nightmare on Elm Street 2 Dream Warriors, and I'll see you guys on the next review. Bye, guys.